Hello and welcome to Coffee is for Closers. As always, I'm your host, Tim Brigham, and today I have a top producer who is record-breaking. He has held multiple titles in Chicago, one of them being the highest rental on Michigan Avenue. With me today is Rafael Murillo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you having me on the show, and excited to be here.
Listen, man, I know you pretty well, but for those who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Rafael Murillo. I'm the principal of RM Luxury Group at Compass. I specialize in the luxury real estate market and have a very successful track record working with professional athletes.
You're actually part of Compass's sports and entertainment division, right? If I remember that.
Correct. So it's a select group of agents across the country that they have a track record working with professional athletes and celebrities. So it's kind of, it's a way for you to be able to help your clients in different markets and just know that the other agent that you're working with is someone that's trusted, that has a successful career and knows how to maneuver these types of transactions, like having an NDA non-disclosure agreement. So that's like something that I implement in all my transactions with professional athletes. I want to protect their privacy.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that when this deal closes, you don't have kids or that are like showing up to the house ringing their doorbell.
Right.
Don't want Crane's Chicago business to. They love writing stories. I mean, this is the type of content that they like putting out there. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And privacy is important to them, especially, being a celebrity-like individual. I mean, you want to just kind of come home and have that peace. Right. So
I've got a fiduciary responsibility too. So you and I have had conversations about some of the people that you've talked to, right? Because we're trying to figure out mortgages and these other things. But man, so like, I got to ask, right? Was it always like this? How did you get in with athletes and entertainment people? I mean, what was the springboard to get you into that?
It was a little bit of social media, like building up a strong presence on social media, and just over time, when I got to a point in my career where I had these luxury listings, it kind of just organically happened. So I remember my first deal with a professional athlete, which happened to be my record-breaking lease for $30,000 per month on Michigan Avenue.
I remember that place. It's beautiful.
Former New York Yankees player.
Yeah.
Didn't speak very, very good English. I'm bilingual in Spanish, so he ends up reaching out to me directly, in Spanish. And I was able to put my thoughts together and kind of reply back to him in Spanish. And, I set up the appointment with one of his managers. I didn't actually even really get to meet him. I think I met him for like a split, 5 minutes when he actually came to look at the property. Mm-hmm. But the whole time I was kind of just working directly with his manager. And I was just going above and beyond to make this deal happen, and at the same time, provide them with other options just in case this property didn't work out. Lucky for me, it worked out, and from there, it was like a little domino effect. Next this player from the Cubs and this player from the Cubs and this player, and then like they all just started contacting me and saying, "Hey, you worked with so-and-so, can you help me find a place?" And from there, I kind of noticed like, hey, like I can kind of turn this into like a niche, right? So then I started building relationships with not necessarily with the players, but their go-to person.
Smart.
Their financial advisor, their sports agent. There's always someone behind the scenes that's kind of maneuvering the transaction for the actual player. You know, like the last deal I did, I worked with a Chicago Bulls player, and everything was through the mom.
Yeah,
you know, she handled everything for her son. So
I'm sure there's just specific language and a way that, you know, they want to be treated, because obviously they've got all these people coming after them all the time. You know, and you obviously do a really good job with that, and you're obviously trusted in the industry, because I know you get referrals from so many others across the country. You know, I want to unpack that just a minute, right? So you basically started with social media, right? And focused on social media to then build a brand for yourself, right? And then that springboarded into, you know, people picking that up to then wanting to work with you, right? You know, that's remarkable, because I think it's a lot of people that they aspire to be, right? They don't know how to do it, or they're trying something. What would you have for advice for somebody who's trying to, you know, up their game in social media? You know, you and I are big on making sure that, you know, our audience, you know, we stay in front of them and let them know that, you know, we really care about them, and that we're in the trenches every single day. This isn't part-time for us, right? What advice would you have for somebody who's...
I mean, I think the word that you use is part-time. Is social media is not part-time. It's like a full-time gig for me. You know, I have a calendar in place on what I'm going to post this week, at what time I should post. It's not just about posting this. You have to be consistent on social media to, over time, grow a following, and as well as the algorithm at Instagram to kind of start picking it up. So I'm very strategic when I post, right? I'm not going to post at midnight, or or just random times, because hey, I have some time available right now. Let me get this little post out of the way.
So when do you post? Like, what's your best, for anybody listening? Like, when should somebody post? You know, and do you post certain content at certain times, or is it just time frames of where you think it's the most effective?
You know, I think it's time frames, and I think you want to follow, you know, work patterns, right? So, you know, I like to post, if I'm going to post in the morning, it's usually, maybe 8 a.m. till 10 a.m., because people are either commuting to work, or they still kind of have a little bit of that downtime in the morning. They're getting their coffee. They're kind of, getting ready to start the day. And then lunchtime hours. So maybe like noon till 1 o'clock, and then after work hours from like say 5 p.m. till about 7 p.m. So those are the type of rules that I try to follow when I'm posting content. But on top of just posting content, I engage with my followers. I engage with other content as well. So
I see
if you post, and I see it, I'm gonna like and I'm gonna comment.
I see you also too. I noticed that you're the most active when it comes to like news channels, when it comes to things that are relevant. You're not doing it just to do it. Where I see some people, they're just making comments, right? Smiley face emoji and things like that. But you're commenting on social issues. You're commenting on news articles that come out. You're actually providing a real opinion. And I'm noticing that you'll start dialogues with people, like Fox News, CNN, something Chicago, like I'll see that pretty regularly. I think that's I don't notice that for many other people.
It's something that I've started doing simply because I care.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all the negative media and the way they portray our city. I mean, I was born and raised in Chicago. I love this city. I've traveled to other cities, and I'm always like, yeah, this was a really fun trip. Austin was really cool, or New York is awesome. but it's not Chicago.
That's right.
So this is like my way of like kind of like fighting back. You know what I mean? It's like me being Batman and like trying to like just like
take it
like
easy.
spread the
take it
easy. I'm
easy.
just trying to be positive out there. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not true. Like our city doesn't suck. It's one of the best cities in the world, you know?
Yeah.
And this is why.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. And the pride behind Chicago, you know, I'm so sick and tired of there's all this negativity that people have and opinions they have of Chicago, which no, the social issues and the things that are popping up, those are real and those do need to be addressed. But that's not Chicago. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. There's an issue that we need to deal with. But Chicago, to me, from somebody who didn't grow up here, came here, and now is in love with Chicago, is because of people like you. You know, the people that walk around and the entrepreneurs, the people that bust their butt, that you can go and make something out of nothing here. That's what Chicago is to me, is that somebody with just a hope and a dream can just go out there and make something of themselves. It's so common that you'll run into people who, you know, their family has a business here and then they've established, right? They know a neighborhood and their family, their grandfather was in that neighborhood, or they were a firefighter or a police officer. There's so much pride behind living in Chicago. I don't know that I see that as much in other cities. I didn't grow up that way. Mm-hmm. You know, these people are like, no, I'm from Chicago, and they're proud of it. Let's take that back, right? I mean, you grew up in Chicago. How did you get into? What led you into real estate? How did you get into this business?
So, you know, it happened by accident. You know, to be quite honest, you know, for a very long time, I worked in the hospitality industry as a brand ambassador for various, you know, hospitality nightclub groups. So, you know, that's kind of where I picked up a lot of my social media skills. So when I kind of got into real estate, it was a little bit easier for me to kind of like just immediately start doing the social media and somewhat already get how social media works, because I was running the social media pages for a lot of hospitality groups, and you know, during the day and at night, you know, I was working the nightclubs as a VIP host. So which
is a hustle. I mean, you're grinding every single day, right?
You know, and it was one of my really, really good clients, and you know, that now is a really, really good friend, someone that you know and that you care about dearly. You know, I'm having a conversation with TK, and you know, and I'm sitting there, you know, it's probably like 1 a.m. in the morning. Just got done taking shots with him, and we're just kind of chatting or whatever, you know. And,
sounds like TK.
And yeah, exactly. If you know TK, like he's a big personality, and like I'm just kind of like sharing my frustration with him. I'm like, you know, something like, this is fun and all, but like,
there's got to be more.
I was like, there's got to be more. I was like, I can't see myself being 40 and working at a nightclub. Like, it's like I kind of like hit a wall, and I wanted more, and I wasn't necessarily sure what I was looking for, but I knew I wanted just a different career for myself. So TK, like, right away is like, hey, like, I'm a mortgage banker, blah, blah, blah. I own my own mortgage company. You should come work for me. So-and-so, like, you know, good friend of yours, Tony, too. He's going to be working for me too. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like, let's do this. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not? You know what I mean? This is my opportunity. You know, let me jump at it. And yeah, I mean, I schedule, you know, I followed up with him the next day, just to make sure it wasn't just like drunk talk. Yeah. Right. You know, and he's like, yeah, let me know when you want to come in. I'll set up a meeting with my partner, and you know, we'll go from there. And yeah, I mean, that's how I met you.
Yeah. So anybody watching, full disclosure, Raphael got his first job, and I'm so proud of this story. I would love to hear you tell it, because I know it, but our audience needs to know, you know, what is the real Raphael? How did you get to where you are? Really?
Yeah, I mean, 2012, I started my real estate career with you as a mortgage lender.
As a young buck.
I was probably maybe mid 20s. Yeah. You know, still working the nightclubs, because I still needed, you know, money to eat and live, right? So but it was an interesting start, because like I remember kind of like my first day, and I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? and you guys just kind of throw like a pack of like freaking like leads, and it's probably like 300. Call them, and I'm like, all right, well, what do I say? And you're just like, just listen. You know, I think the first day you're like, just spend a day just listening. You know, like listen to the other loan officers, see how they talk to the leads, how they open, you know, the conversation, how they engage the prospect and whatnot. And yeah, I remember, you know, just calling like about 300 people, and I remember going to your office and being like, hey, I called everyone. And you're like, all right, well, start calling them again. I'm like that doesn't make sense, but like, all right, we go back and start all over and start calling these leads again. And I remember one of the first few calls, like I get someone on the phone, I'm like, holy shit, I got someone on the phone. And I'm like freaking out, and I'm like talking to this person, and she's like, you know, I'm in an arm, and you know, I'm like, arm, and like I put like pause on the phone, and I'm like, hey guys, like what's an arm? Like, and they're like, an adjustable rate mortgage. And like I like sit there clueless, like, what the fuck is an adjustable rate mortgage?
You're welcome to the mortgage business. Welcome to the mortgage business. You know, your start was that exercise. That was my start. That was TK's start. That's how we get in. That's how we figured out. You know, and it's a different time now.
Yeah, it was the old school way, right? But
yeah,
I'm actually very grateful to kind of like have that old school, you know.
Yeah, the one thing I knew about you is that you would just pound the phones. Like you would just keep going. I was so proud of you. And I remember one time, Tony, shout out to Tony, love you, man. But he's sitting there and there was a little bit of a struggle at first, which is expected, right? You're investing in these guys and thinking as a leader, you're like, okay, we got to get you to, you know, start converting. And one day I walked by and Tony's sitting there at his desk and he's like, you know, I've called all these leads and I can't get anybody to say yes. And I said, you've called all these leads? Hold on a second. And I grabbed the leads off his desk and I started making phone calls. The second phone call I got, I pulled 2 deals out of it. And they were the same leads that were sitting in front of it. I was like, you didn't call that lead. And he goes, no, I didn't call that lead. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Because what's up? And like, it just, you know, it just takes that relentless grind to get to where you need to be. What happened from there? So why aren't you a mortgage lender these days?
I mean, I think you can tell that story. I just, I wasn't really good at it. I sucked.
Just wasn't.
And
for you,
I think at that time, even though like I wanted like a different career, I wasn't mentally there. You know what I mean? Like I was still partying, still working the nightlife, making really good money in the nightlife. You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard to fully walk away from that. You know what I mean? From, you know, making, you know, close to 6 figures, literally partying is what I was doing. I was partying and getting paid to party. So walking away from that was just kind of hard. You know what I mean? Because with the mortgage business, it was 100% commission. You know, I think maybe the timing wasn't the best. I mean, I do recall like being able to like actually like, you know, get some people on the phone, submitting applications, and just because of the kind of like the current market conditions that we were dealing with at that time, a lot of these people were underwater. Mm-hmm. So then we go through the entire process, appraisal comes short, and we're not talking like 5,000-10,000, like appraisals were coming like 50 to 100,000.
It's a different time. Short. It's a very different time, you know.
And then it was a dead deal, meaning I wasn't making any money on that deal. Yeah. Even though I got it from start and almost to the finish line, you don't get paid for almost, right?
Yep.
So
I've said this multiple times, and I did ask your permission to say it this way prior to, but when I let you go, I don't think I hate firing people. I hate parting ways. It's like the worst. And you would think with my personality, I'd have no issue with it, but I do. I genuinely care about the people that work for me. And I remember sitting in the room and I looked at you and I said, look, you got 2 options here. You can either go back to your nightlife job and like, I said something kind of douchey. I think I said like, you know, it's fine. You can go do that. I mean, you can go get bottles for us and whatnot when we come out. Right. And I was trying to ring home with the message. And I was like, or you can learn from this and you can go on and you can take this message, take what's happening right now and you can go do something with it. Those are your 2 options. Right. Because I don't know what you want to do, but today we're parting as friends. And you and one other person were in the room, and that other person, God bless them, you know, they went on to do something else. you took it and said, you know what? I'm gonna use this as motivation, right? And you went on to start breaking records. You went on and partnered up with some people that we all respect in the industry and cut your teeth on how to be a badass, not only realtor, but leader, right? Because you now have a team, right? Talk to me about that.
I mean, I think it's all about how you take a loss, right? So even though it was like a loss in my book, it was also an opportunity, right? Because I still learned a lot from being in the mortgage industry. I learned from you. I learned from TK. I learned, how to act as a professional and what that looks like. And obviously what got me fired, was how not to be professional. And, so it kind of just opened my eyes a bit. And it was, I kind of had to dive deep and be like, I really got to work on myself first before I even, can step into, a career. It's like, I got to work on myself and be like, okay, mentally and realize that like, this is life. This isn't like freaking, fun and games. Like, like my being in the hospitality industry, like it was fun, right? It was mostly fun and games, but that's not the real world. You know what I mean? Like if I want to make a change for myself and be a better person and want like the future me to like look back and be proud of like of the person that I've become, you gotta change
decisions.
You gotta change who you are and make better decisions. And that's kind of what I did. I think I took maybe I spent like maybe another 1.5 year in the hospitality industry. And then I started thinking to myself, I was like, something, like the mortgage industry wasn't for me, but I was like, I enjoy, being with people and helping people and just building, and maintaining these relationships. Yeah. I think I want to sell real estate, and as crazy as it sounded at the time, kind of like, all right, well, obviously my mortgage career wasn't very successful. But I saw something in real estate, on the sell side where I was like, I think I can make this work. And, I still remember like my first 2 years in the business, I was very strategic about where I was going to work. I wasn't chasing the dollar. I wasn't chasing 100% commission. I took my time to interview brokerages. So I sat down with Sotheby's, Berkshire Hathaway, at Properties, Remax. I mean, I was interviewing brokerages and trying to find which one was going to be the right fit for me to learn and grow as an agent. I wasn't necessarily chasing the dollar, right? Because if I was chasing the dollar, I would have just joined like 100% commission. So my first 2 years, it was like I put education first. Yeah. So I would show up to the office every day.
Who were you working for when you first joined?
I joined the Scouron group at Properties, and
that's a good group. Yeah.
For people that might not know Phil Scouron, because he's very low key, but he's a monster. I mean, he's one of the top agents at Trump Tower.
Oh wow.
So I was working for a hitter, right? A whale.
And I'm going to pause you there for anybody who's struggling, right? If you're truly struggling, listen to what he's saying, is that chasing the dollar isn't going to make you struggle less. It's going to make you struggle more. Agents will come up to me and be like, well, what's your advice? Well, if the fundamentals aren't there, if you truly need help figuring out how to establish a foundation, reach out to a hitter. Reach out to somebody who runs a team who's willing to pour into you. No, you're not going to make their money. Mm-hmm. They're going to share with you. The knowledge that you're going to learn from it is invaluable, right? And that's something that you do for your team, right? What was it like working for Phil? What were you doing for him?
I wasn't necessarily doing much for Phil in the sense where like I was kind of like an agent there to support his business and like run around and and do showings for him. I feel like every team has kind of like a different, just a different way that they're run, right? There's teams out there where, you know, the principal drives all the business, and he or she has so much business that they need help, right? They need foot soldiers to just be there present for showings, for inspections. Phil's team was very, very different in the sense where you know, Paul Blackburn at the time was like his right hand, and Paul did a great job just training me on how to build my business, right? How to look for business or generate business for myself. You know, I think they always knew, even when I joined the team, that eventually I was gonna either go and start my own team or just kind of go and run my own show.
But they were there for a resource.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were there for a resource. Like I was showing up to the office every day, learning how Phil was talking on the phone. When I did have an opportunity, I would ask to tag along. Like, hey, can I come to Trump Tower with you? Can I come know, to 4 East Elm? And I would just pay attention to how he was communicating with his clients, right? And that's why I kind of say like the first 2 years was really just like me learning the business, right? Working on the business, whether it's just building up a social media brand that's not going to instantly generate leads, but over time it's just going to organically just start feeding, you know.
So let's expand on that, right? I think that's something that we talked about prior to this was, you know, what do you think the biggest mistake? Like, you're obviously a huge social media guy, like I am, right? You focus on branding and making sure that people understand that you're passionate, you're professional, and you're responsive, and they're going to be on top of these things, right? That's the expectation that they receive. What do you think the biggest mistake that agents make when they're starting to jump into, you know? Well, first off, let's start here. What made you go after social media? Like what was the first thing that you did that was successful or that made you really focus on social media to get business?
I was just paying attention to what some top producers were doing, not necessarily all. Because in the very beginning of my career, I feel like social media wasn't quite a thing yet. Yeah. It wasn't there yet. There was maybe like a select few agents, and some that weren't even local. Like I was just paying attention to what other brokers were doing in different markets in the East Coast and the West Coast, and seeing how they, you know, how they were kind of like, you know, running their social media pages. And it kind of clicked to me. I'm like, hey, I know this, right? Like this is what I was doing in the hospitality industry. You know what I mean? Like, I was a social media manager for, you know, for hospitality groups.
So give us,
let me, you know, I was like, how can I apply this to real estate?
Yeah.
So I remember I'm like, you know, I was like, I still have my, you know, my Facebook page for like, you know, for my nightlife VIP host business. I went back because I'm like, man, I was like, I have like 5,000 followers on there. Like, went back on that page and I deleted like everything. Like I cleaned it up. Even my personal Facebook, I try to clean that up as much as possible because I'm like, you know something, no one's gonna take me serious in this business. You know, if they go on my Facebook and they see all these pictures
when you were a kid.
Yeah, you know, when I was younger and I was partying and, you know, doing the whole bottle service thing, I was like, I don't think anyone's gonna take me seriously. And the funny thing is, everyone that I knew, like everyone like thinks like, oh, he has like, you know, like he built his book of business because, you know, he comes from the nightlife industry, and he was already rubbing elbows with professional athletes or whatnot. But the thing is that it took a couple years from everyone from my past to actually take me seriously.
Yeah.
And, you know, because to them, I was still, you know, Ralphie from, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Ralphie, the VIP host.
That's a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah. You know, so they couldn't take me seriously. It's like, I can have fun with you. I can party with you, but I'm not going to trust you with, you know, with a real estate transaction. So I really had to start from scratch. But I was very consistent with the social media early on. I was also very strategic about the marketplace that I wanted to be in and the type of clients that I wanted to attract. So, so early on, I was already kind of just reading up as much as I could on the luxury real estate market, learning every building in downtown Chicago, which one has a pool, which one has a basketball court, how many units are in the Waldorf, or that there's 2 units on each side.
I also think that are you the first one to do lifestyle videos? Or you're one of the first. You started embracing, doing like lifestyle videos to get them out there to kind of show what Chicago is and what you're representing, right?
Yeah, I mean, till this day, I would probably say that I'm one or few that implements like lifestyle videography in their listing videos. And what I mean by lifestyle is kind of like luxury real estate is more than just like the house, but it's like the lifestyle that comes with
it's
living.
The feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I implement like models, cars, boats. I try to sell the lifestyle. Like I just did a really, really cool video for the St. Regis, and I'm like, hey, like we should do a boat scene. I mean, this is a waterfront property. I mean, this is kind of like the lifestyle that comes with living at the St. Regis, is that the Chicago River in Lake Michigan it steps from the building. I mean, that's the lifestyle. Let's sell on that, right? Let's sell on that dream.
So does it work? I mean, when you do these lifestyle videos, does it? I mean, your mom must think you're awesome, right? Your friends must think you're awesome. But like you see some of these people do this. Does it?
I mean, there's a lot of. I still remember like the first lifestyle video. Like I had a bunch of people like laughing at me, like other agents.
Really?
They were laughing behind my back, and like I was just overhearing it from like from my friends in the business, like, oh, so and so like freaking said this about your video and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever, man. Like, what I mean? Like, just I'm gonna do me. You do you. You know what I mean? Like my way of business might be different from yours. Doesn't necessarily mean that my way is wrong or that your way is wrong. That's the beauty about this business. There's so many different ways to generate business, and what works for me might not work for you. But I was paying attention to what the agents were doing in California. You know what I mean? Like heavy hitters out there. I was paying attention to what agents were doing in New York.
Yeah.
And they're all doing lifestyle video. No one's doing lifestyle video in Chicago. I was like, F the noise. I'm gonna keep doing what I think works, or where I think marketing, the way that real estate should be marketed. And I just kept with it. And it started opening doors, man.
Really?
It started opening doors. Like I still remember I get a call from Crescent. Actually, no, I get a call from a very successful developer, who's now a really good friend, good industry friend. And he actually has his marketing person call me. He's like, hey, you don't know who I am. You don't know who so-and-so is. He wanted me to call you just to let you know that like that video was freaking awesome. He saw the Facebook ad that you were running on that video, and he called everyone into a marketing meeting, and he played the video for us, and he was like, this is what I want. This is what I need.
Wow.
And that was like a huge compliment.
Yeah.
This guy is like, like he was, developing, luxury condominiums in Lincoln Park, in the West Loop. I mean, he was a big time developer. And I'm like, wow, all right, so it's working. I don't have a listing yet, right? I was like, I don't have a listing yet.
But you're getting attention.
I was like, but I'm getting attention, right? Yeah. I was like, I'm getting, negative attention, but I'm also getting, this was like, all right, here's the first positive noise that I made. I'm like, cool, let's keep at it. And I end up getting $1 million listing in the South Loop, and I'm like, all right, this
from this video?
No. Just this was just one of my past renter clients that I ended up converting into a buyer, and and we do a lifestyle video.
Oh, okay.
Guess who calls? Crescent Heights next door.
Oh,
I mean, we're talking a nationwide developer. We're not talking like small Chicago developer. Like, these
big.
guys are building skyscrapers all across the country. And they call me and they're like, hey, we saw the video you did next door at War Museum Park. It was great. We want to meet with you. We want to talk to you about about possibly listing one of our penthouses. It's we're going to list it for $25,000 per month. We also saw that you rented a penthouse at 6 North Michigan for $30,000 per month. We want to meet with you.
Wow.
And I go and end up getting that listing. End up doing a badass video. Till this day, that's probably one of my favorite videos. I mean, we rented a Ferrari. I mean, we went all out
above and beyond.
Yeah, it was a great video, and it was really, really fun. And yeah, I mean, from there, it was like the rest was kind of history. Like that right there was just like, yeah, this is going somewhere, and I'm gonna just keep at it. Now it's part of like my listing presentation. Now I'm going in there like, yeah, but let me see their video. Anyone can shoot a video, but like, look at my video. Like my stuff is top notch. It's cinematic. Like we're spending like a full day of shooting. This isn't like a guy just showing up with a camera and like, like 5-10 minutes and boom, he's out. Like, no, like we're sitting down, before we even like schedule the video. What's the story that we're trying to tell? Who do you think is the client for this property, and how can we attract that client through video?
Yeah.
It takes weeks to kind of just get everything in place before we even shoot the video. And then after you shoot the video, it's all the stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes. It's not necessarily like, all right, I got a video, I'm going to post it
one time and hope it nets a seller, right?
Exactly.
Or a buyer. Yeah.
I'm running YouTube ads. I'm running ads on Facebook, Instagram. I'm driving, clicks and views to the video, because video very similar to like SEO, search engine optimization for like websites. Just because you have a website doesn't mean it's going to generate leads. Right. You got to do PPC. You got to do SEO. You got to work on the website. You got to write blogs. So eventually your website starts ranking on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
So this is the same concept with video. There's still marketing behind the scenes that's being done to promote the video. So
yeah, I mean, I love what you just said, because if you really unpack all of it, right? You shot a video just because you just thought it was a good idea. You were watching other things and you believed in it, and you had haters instantly. People were making fun of you. Most people would have quit. Most people have been like, that was stupid. What a waste of money. I shouldn't have done that. And you said, all right, well, that's whatever.
That's the number one problem with our industry, Tim, is like everyone wants instant gratification for what they do. And that's why like everyone gets into real estate thinking like it's easy. I'm going to go and sell, $3 million homes, like, a month after I just got licensed. No one wants to put in the work, man.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years doing rentals and taking all the rental listings at my office that no one wanted to take, or just because they were just top producers and they just didn't want to deal with rentals. I was like, hey man, raising my hand at the office, I'll take it. I'll do it. You don't want that listing? I'll take it. And guess what? A lot of those rental clients turned into buyers and sellers. And like in some ways, I built my book of business in the very beginning, working these renters, taking the leads that no one wanted to take. But I treated every lead with respect and value each and one of those clients. To me, there are opportunities. All right. Maybe the commission wasn't like, anything like, to smile about.
But the experience.
But to me, it was the experience. Yeah. I was learning everything that I could about downtown Chicago by doing all these showings. I was learning about the different buildings. I was learning about the amenities that they offer.
Yeah.
And as soon as that deal closed, I was thinking about next year. Yeah. Right. I was like, this is an opportunity for me. Yeah. Right. This is an opportunity for me to either have repeat business with this client. Either they're going to rent from me again or they're going to buy from me next year. So, you know, I was building that relationship along the way. You know, I always add all my clients on social media. Yeah. And I try to do my best to engage with their content and try to keep up with them. You know what I mean? There's some clients that you just naturally, you know, build a really good relationship that you still, you know, just keep in touch right after the deal. You know, after so many transactions though, it's hard to keep up sometimes. So social media for me has been a way, you know, to keep up, you know, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you know, at the end of the day, you know, real estate is my life. Right. So I was like, why keep my personal separate from my business? If my business really truly is kind of what I live for and I love it. It doesn't feel like work to me.
I love it. You've said multiple times you love this. You're having fun. You know, this is your lifestyle. I don't think everyone fully grasps that. Is that it changes you. It changes you as a person. You know, how does your family think of your career? I mean, you didn't grow up in a real estate family, right?
No. I mean, first generation immigrant family. I mean, my dad worked two jobs at one point because he didn't want my mom to work. He was a little old school, right? In that way, he's like, no, I want mom to kind of stay home with the kids, make sure that, you know, we're well taken care of, and just, you know, keep us on check, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome. They've got to be super proud of you, man. I know I am. Right. I mean, it's to watch you start in your career and to see where you are now. That's incredible, man. And you earned it. You earned it. You take all credit for that. It's great.
You know, just stay humble. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's kind of been my thing, right? It's just stay humble, be good to people. And, you know, by being good to people and being nice, you just naturally just attract positive energy to yourself. You know, like there's days where like I'm having a bad day. And then the minute that I'm just like, all right, you know something, like that's one deal, right? Like let's shake it off.
That's time to go.
Let's smile and let's go. And a couple days later, next thing you know, you get a freaking call and you're like, oh my God. You know, it's like here's a win. Here's a win. You know what I mean?
That's why we started you on a stack of leads, because it's like, okay, that wasn't a good one. Now I'm on to the next one. Man, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for coming in here, Raphael. We really appreciate you, and you know, keep fighting the good fight. Good hanging out with you today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Join us.